Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. We are continuing our very rushed end of December reviews on the cloth pads in my collection. I've kind of curated my cloth pads now to actually have kind of ones that I do actually really like and love, because if I don't like or love them, they get destashed quite rapidly to another collection, or I just meet somebody who might want them. Today we're doing Novel Red, who is an American maker. These four here are 9 inches with a 2.5 inch snap. They are quilters cotton on top, and they are bamboo cotton core, and they have Winpro fleece on the back, but they have, that one is the only one with white Winpro fleece. The others here have black Winpro fleece, as you can tell. So all of these here have this black Winpro fleece on the back. These three here are the liners that I have, which are 7 inches and have a 2.5 inch gap as well. Snap, sorry. It's okay, I will use my words maybe at some point today. So as you can see, there is the galaxy, the bees. There's two different types of galaxy prints there. There is the bees, the music, the rabbit, the octopus, and the writing. And they are all made with the same material. Now, these are all very, very well made. They are a little bit too short for me. So even the liners are kind of a bit too short for me. I do tend to kind of go out the top of them, or go, and generally that's where with my liners I will go, is out the top. And these moderates here, which are all of these 9-inch ones, kind of really only suit me as a backup to my pads, to a menstrual cup, or I like towards the end of my period, kind of like that last couple of days where there's not a lot going on. However, that is actually personal preference to me, because these are 7 and 9-inch pads, so they kind of are just in that gap between what I prefer. I prefer 8-inch liners, so it means that they're an inch shorter, and I prefer 10-inch moderates, which means in both of these circumstances these pads are an inch shorter than my personal preference. However, that does not mean to say that these aren't really, really good professionally made pads. They have held up really, really well. None of the stitching has come loose. The cam snaps have not broken off or fallen off. There isn't a discernible, you can tell where the turning circle is, but it's not coming apart, which is a really big thing. If you've seen some of my other reviews, you'll notice that some of those issues have been coming up. This Winpro at the back either, as you can tell, is not bunchy, so it doesn't bunch at the back when you close it. Some pads will do that, particularly the cheaper kind of pads, but you don't really get that with really well done pads. As you can see, stitching still intact, snap still intact. This is very, very well placed, and this rabbit down the center is very well placed in the pad, and it has this cute daisy snap here. So again, these are very, very well made. This one here, I do have a slight staining issue, obviously down the middle, but I obviously stain treat that a lot to try and kind of calm it down. But again, as you can see, they're not awfully faded. They're not, the stitching's not coming out. Cam snaps are still there. They're not pilling or beading. So Novel Red does, I believe, have an Etsy store, but she also has her own website, which is where these came from. You can't really choose the size. You can choose the fabric and the, like, whether you want a liner or a moderate or a heavy. So I obviously had picked liners and moderates for the fabric choices that I had. She does update her fabric choices quite a bit, and she does have a variety of toppers. All of these ones here, as I said, are quilters cotton topped, so I didn't really break out of that topper. Cotton top, cotton and quilters cotton kind of works really well in the environment that I live in, so it's absorbent without being too hot. I often find OBVs can actually get quite overwhelming and hot. The bamboo cotton and Winpro means that I have never leaked through these or gone through these in any circumstance, but again, I don't particularly use them on ultra heavy days because they're not long enough, because I tend to be a really big center bleeder, so I can bleed right up this center line, and I can also go around the wings as well, so I've quite often bled right through up the wings as well. So I find that if I was wearing a pad this short on a heavier day, I would definitely bleed out the wings, which is kind of not what you want to do. So, but again, they work really well as backups. They function quite well. They have held up under, throwing them in the washing machines. I will possibly in January do an updated wash routine. I don't think it has changed much from when I did it in 2018, but it will be worth it to show, to just kind of show what I actually do to keep my pads so clean and tidy. But still, they are kind of thrown in a bucket of Oxy Clean. They are then thrown in the washing machine, and then they are hung out in direct sunlight to dry. So just bear that in mind, that these have held up really well under the circumstances that I wash them in, because I don't treat them like they're delicate. Because, no one really needs that kind of frustration in their life. However, this is the review for Novel Red. I will link her website down below. If she is on Etsy, I'll also link that. Outside of that, you will see screen pop-ups happening at some point soon that will have the subscribe button. They'll also have the link to last year's review on Novel Red, and they will also have the link to the playlist about all of these cloth pads and all of the reviews from December 2018, and then all of the reviews that are happening now in December 2019. You will be bombarded with a whole bunch of reviews in these last few days of 2019, because obviously I want them up for December. Outside of that, enjoy your morning, afternoon or evening, and I will catch up with you all in the next video. Bye everyone.